So the gentleman who's going to help me, his name is Casey. He's got a big old van. Takes gas. A lot of gas. So, of course, he wants me to go up to his camp. It's only about 3 miles out of town. And, I'm fine with that, but I got to get some stuff done. I mean, there's 7 days overall that he was going to help, and then just did not happen. Did not happen. And same thing with Claire on a couple of occasions. 2 or 3 of them. Now, they know each other. They recently met each other, I guess. But with the interpersonal dynamics of it, like, alright, for me, communication is best done one-on-one. With him, I was trying to explain some pretty serious stuff, and a couple of jokes trying to make it lighthearted. I get that, but when it's non-stop and, I'm already overwhelmed with the situation that I'm in. I'm overwhelmed with trying to get help. I'm overwhelmed with the fact that his van is just going to eat up a lot of time, and then the days that he was going to help me was a whole bunch of running around. I understand he's got his own stuff to do too, and he's got to take care of it. He did not expect the phone thing to take up 3 extra days of his time in addition to what he'd already put in. But the thing is, I didn't get the help I needed. Now then there's the fact that when there's an interpersonal dynamic like that, if you're trying to get people to keep their word, you said 11, it's 11, can we? And you try to say, hey, do you think we could, I don't know, stay with the timetable and actually achieve something? And no, that's not a happening thing. And you can't push the issue because then you're the bad guy. So you have to hurry up and wait. And I'm overwhelmed with so much hurry up and wait. I mean, at least this dynamic is easy for me to see and visualize and understand. Whereas, like with Ventus and Stephanie was supposed to be there to help me. I'd given her every penny, literally every penny that I had went to Stephanie Mejia so she could come help me. And instead, she showed up and it was a party with Ventus. Ventus was complaining about, well, he's got food and I'm eating my food, but he's worried about there being food in the house and he needs food. I had a $50 card. I gave it to him so he could get food. He didn't get food with it, and he continued to complain about food. It's complicated. Getting people to pay attention to what the fuck is going on is fucking 100 times goddamn harder when there's 2 people there and they're both busy talking. Conversations, yeah, sure, I get that. You guys like to small talk. I fucking don't. Let's get down to business. Let's cut out all the fucking useless bullshit and focus on the task at hand. If you're going to stop me in the middle of every sentence and start going off on a tangent about you and your shit, understand that I am helping you. Could you help me too? You said you would help me, and then I'm jumping all over the place, running around, doing all sorts of favors for other people, hoping that if I do these things, they'll keep their word and show up on time. That they'll take the time to actually listen instead of last minute, we're going in, they're fucking clueless. They have no fucking idea what's going on. Meanwhile, I've wasted a half of a fucking month running around, jumping through fucking hoops. Please, stop making me jump through hoops and fucking help. Stop making it about you and fucking listen. Stop rescheduling to go do all your own stuff when I am helping you with your own stuff. I get that you've got your own shit to do. Well, so the fuck do I. And people always want me to donate money so they can go do what they want. Hey, Sean, could you fucking give me some gas money so I can go up to my camp? Hey, Sean, if you went up to camp with me, no, I'm not going to go get fucking stranded at a camp for no fucking reason. I got to get gas for me too, and now that I have gas, I need to use it for me. If I'm going to run around wasting all of my fucking resources, this is not beneficial. This doesn't help anyone. Well, no, it does. It helps everyone but me. When you say you're going to help, when you say, yeah, I'll listen to you, Sean. I'll listen to you. That right there is the most important thing. If you can't listen to me, you're not going to be any fucking use. You're going to sit there like a bump on a fucking log. Stephanie Mejia fucking should have spoken up, but she didn't. Like a bump on a fucking log. Graham Milborn sat there like a bump on a fucking log. They have no fucking clue what's going on in the goddamn situation. Stephanie Mejia, yeah, I paid fucking every goddamn thing that I had so she could go on vacation and cheat on her husband. That's what I paid for. That's not what the money was supposed to be for. It wasn't prostitution money. It wasn't vacation money. It was, hey, you said you'll help me. Now you're here to help me. I gave you all of my money so you could come here to fucking help me. What the hell is going on? So, of course, this morning they're both together in the car, and that's fine. Last night she had a bunch of running around to do all late and shit. Meanwhile, I've got anxiety like a motherfucker. When are you gonna keep your fucking word? I'm fucking exhausted from running around for other people. I got shit I gotta do. There's some important expenses. Like in the morning, people need coffee. Fine, if I got to support for coffee so that you guys are awake enough to fucking help, yes, I'll support for coffee. Hell yes. And I'm not sexist about it. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to get coffee for the person with a vagina. That's fucking sexist. I'm not just going to go to the fucking store and charge up her battery and not fucking think about him at all. That's fucking stupid. That is counterproductive. I don't mind helping. I do mind getting fucking taken advantage of. And that's very much what it feels like. And of course, you can't say that unless it's a one-on-one setting, because then they'll try to understand it. Other than that, it becomes a fucking argument or a fucking bullshit. It sucks. I mean, I've invested a lot of fucking time and energy. I need help. You get to see through my videos, not only are there witnesses to these situations, I've spoken with those witnesses about the situations afterwards on multiple occasions. The problem is I am fucking overwhelmed. I'm about to spend the last of my fucking money. I had to fucking panhandle it up last night. I got enough money for one fucking cup of coffee, all right? I can go in there and do my computer shit. But the thing is, nobody's got any fucking clue what's going on. How the fuck are you gonna help me when you're too busy trying to get laid to get anything done? That's the situation with Stephanie Mejia. If you're busy trying to date, fine, go ahead and try to date. But when you say you're going to help somebody, if they do this, and if they do that, and if they do this, and if they do that, then you'll help them. And they jump through all your fucking hoops. You say, hey, I want some cigars. All right, I can run down and get them for you. I don't want to, but yes, I can go down and do that. So she gives me 89 cents. It's $1.49 for these things. I'm like, all right. I got a little bit of change in my pocket. I can sport for it. I was able to get gas yesterday. So, hey, could you charge up my battery? Yes, I can do that. But I'm doing these things so that I can get help. I'm helping you every day. Every day I'm helping. Every day. It's exhausting. I know at the end of the day, it's gonna be like pulling fucking teeth. I know that when people want my help, and I will actually show up right then and there, I'm right there. I'm right there. Yesterday morning, I couldn't go fuck around with their batteries. Just couldn't do it. I have to get my own shit done. But what the fuck am I going to get done? Not a goddamn thing. I have to wait for them fucking to stop playing kissy kissy. And I've seen the whole mating ritual enough to know how it works. I'm not an idiot. When it comes to dating and knowing if a woman's interested in me, well, you know what? A lot of times I can tell that she's interested in me, but I'm not fucking interested. If she can't be blunt, what the fuck point is there? You want to have sex, say you want to have sex. If you don't want to have sex, say you don't want to have sex. Don't say you don't want to have sex and then grab my penis. That's not cool. Don't say one thing and then do another. Because at that point, no matter what I do, it's wrong. If you're going to tell me you're not interested in sex, and of course, many women volunteer this information to me. By volunteer it, I mean I'm not hitting on them or trying to touch their parts or anything like that. They let me know from the start, I'm not interested in sex. Well, good. Maybe we can get something accomplished. But it turns out most of them are interested in sex, just not with me, which I'm fine with. I don't want to have sex with anybody. It's gross. Maybe if you're my best friend in the whole world, maybe I might think about swapping snot particles in the interest of having a kid. But I don't want to bring a kid into this world. That's insane. That's insane. Now the problem is that Casey is exhibiting the she's my property traits. He's not getting possessive because they're not an item. So he's not wanting to show any possessive anger traits. But, I mean, it's very much the, all right, I'm going to make sure that I eat up every moment of time with her. And I need help. While I'm running around doing errands for them, they're just having a fun old time, which I'm fine with. I think they're both fun to hang out with. But here's the thing. I have shit that I need to get done for me. They were both going to help me, and neither one of them are going to be able to help me because neither one of them can stop googly-eyeing enough and give me time to even talk. When I try to explain that these are not bad people, I'm not kidding, they're not bad people. But holy shit, they're not stopping to understand how much my resources need to go to me. The more resources I waste on them, the less I have for me. If I'm using up my resources because they promised to help, and I'm there for that help, and I am on time, and she's going to listen, and every time she's going to, he shows up! Like, holy fuck, dude! Can we stop and understand I'm wasting all of my resources for help that I'm not getting? But then you encounter the situation where you just aren't allowed to say anything at some point. Like with Tabby, I got so sick of that shit with fucking Graham being a little bitch. I got so sick of that shit with her boyfriend, Joshua Eichelberger, getting fucking drunk and treating everybody like fucking shit. I got so sick of that. But I knew that I couldn't say nothing because Joshua was Tabby's main squeeze. Now, Tabby's a big woman. For her, finding somebody who's even willing to have sex with her, even when they're drunk, isn't necessarily the easiest thing in the world. Now, of course, Joshua Eichelberger is an alcoholic and an asshole. Now, when there was a major issue with Joshua Eichelberger, we were able to deal with it in an effective way. Now, when it came to a major issue with Graham, who plays Christian, as soon as Tabby was done with Joshua Eichelberger, she went homie hopping. She hooked up with his best friend, Graham Milburn. This Christian guy who was supposed to help me, but no matter how much he was paid, he didn't follow through. Every time that he was gonna, Joshua Eichelberger needed attention. Shannon Alvarado, her boyfriend, was going to help me with the computer stuff, but he couldn't because Shannon Alvarado would get drunk and need attention. She doesn't care if it's negative. If she's not able to get the positive attention, because positive attention would denote that she's being patient instead of acting like an alcoholic and allowing Sean to get the help that he's there for. No, if that's not working, if Sean does actually need attention and he's actually getting that attention, then that's when Shannon Alvarado demands negative attention. She demands an argument from her boyfriend. No, I'm not having to deal with that with Claire and with Casey. I mean, if they end up dating and fucking 6 years down the road they're at each other's throats, that's a different scenario, and it's not here. That's not the scenario that we're dealing with in this moment. The scenario that we're dealing with in this moment is that I'm wasting all of my money for fucking help that I'm not fucking getting. I'm wasting time on people who are not investing any time into me. The interpersonal dynamics, that's such fucking bullshit. You know what? You can date somebody and still help somebody out when you say you're gonna. You can help somebody. You can be dating somebody and still do the right thing. There's a lot of people whose excuses, oh, well, my spouse says. Fuck your spouse. If your spouse is telling you not to do the right thing, what the fuck is wrong with you for dating them? Oh yeah, you're lonely. I get it. I've never had a girlfriend. Ever. I'm 42 years of age now. I am finally the age that all these news places wanted to claim that I was from the very start. Oh, he's 42 years old. No, I'm not. Or at least I wasn't then. But here's the thing. When are these people going to take the time to actually stop and listen? They're not going to. I have tried, and every single time it becomes about them. So I let it be about them. When I'm treated like I'm selfish for asking people to keep their word. Oh, Sean, you can't expect everybody to drop everything for you whenever you want. Holy shit. Who drops anything for me? Nobody. People say they're going to help. And I drop everything to go to where the help is supposed to be. Where they said that they would. And I invest my resources there, and I don't get the help I need because everybody's on fucking drugs or alcohol or trying to get fucking laid. Tell you what, instead of spending fucking 6 goddamn weeks going through the whole jumping through hoops, why don't you just have sex? Get it out of the way. If it's going to eat up every moment of your time and thinking between now and fucking when it happens, get it done, get it over with, and get on with your fucking life. Doing that whole fucking goddamn dating thing is fucking stupid out here on the streets. It's stupid. For the whole time y'all are trying to woo each other because you're fucking horny and lonely, you could have gotten the horny part out of the way. And then at that point, instead of wasting 6 weeks where you could be trying to get yourself unhomeless, instead of wasting that 6 weeks beating around the bush about busting a nut, be straightforward. Oh, but you can't be straightforward. If a man is straightforward, of course, that makes him a fucking horrible person. If a woman is straightforward, of course, it makes her a horrible person, right? Fuck no. There are people that I have been interested in that I never say anything to, and do you know why? Because I want to know what kind of fit they're going to be. When I find somebody attractive, it's not their physical looks that are important, it's their fucking brain. If I'm attracted to you, we've had more than one in-depth conversation, and you've shown me you're not a complete and total fucking idiot. But just because I'm attracted to you doesn't mean that it's a sexual attraction. I'm not sexually attracted to anyone or anything. And don't get me wrong, I used to be sexually attracted to women. I went through puberty. I had hormones. I still have hormones. In high school, right? I wasn't actually interested in dating. When I thought about dating, I thought about, well, basically like a teddy bear, someone to cuddle with. Sex was the furthest thing from my mind. But then, of course, I'm constantly bombarded by sex, people talking about sex, hearing about the other students in school having sex, and going to parties where people are having sex at the parties. You know, I was not a fucking social butterfly, but I did have friends, and I did go places. And I was a wallflower, so I usually stood off by the side. I got to see nearly every student in Chapel High School be a fucking douchebag to their best friend over getting laid by somebody. Oh, I could have had sex with blah, 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 blah. Sure you could have. That's one thing with Jamie Curtis. There was a girl in Chapel, Nebraska named Amber Derry, right? And my little brother had the biggest crush on Amber. Everybody did. Now, I gotta tell you, she was a fucking sweetheart, all right? She wasn't just pretty. She was super nice. Now, everybody's got a crush on this girl, and Jamie Curtis, she was not pretty growing up, all right? She had a big old gap between her teeth, and, there was people in town that said all sorts of mean stuff about her gap, and she looks like a donkey. She looks like John Elway. She looks like, all sorts of mean shit. She looks like a woodchuck. She looks like a beaver. She should be off in the woods chewing down trees. All sorts of mean shit. Well, then Jamie got her braces and her teeth got straight and she was drop dead gorgeous. She had green eyes. Every dude in Chapel, Nebraska is like, oh my God, Jamie, Jamie, Jamie. I'm like, holy shit. This is like Kimberly Jefferson all over again. Everybody had a thing for Kim Jefferson, who is also my first friend in Chapel, Nebraska, and probably the longest friendship I've ever had. We're not friends anymore over a suicide. Anyway, I'm fucking too worked up to fucking function right now. I'm having a constant fucking panic attack about not having enough fucking time, and people just eat up my time. Now, she said that she'll help me today, but she said she'd help me yesterday, and you know what? Day before too. That's the thing, is that when are you going to? I get treated like crimes that are committed against me are not crimes. I get treated by the police as if crimes that are committed against me are not crimes. Now, if I do them, sure enough, they're criminal if I do them. Cops also want to ignore my disabilities and talk over me, and then manufacture disabilities that I don't actually have to try to justify their crimes. Now, how am I going to explain this to somebody who's busy trying to mate? And maybe it's not about mating. Maybe both of those people, well, all right. I can't say both of them because I know that he very much is interested in vagina. He has very much voiced his opinions on vaginas and his interest and love for vaginas. Not the person attached to it, just the vagina. Now, as long as two people are fine with having that kind of relationship, that's okay. But it's also the fact that there's a time for chasing vagina, and there is a time for letting a motherfucker who is helping you out, that you said that you would help, let him get the help he needs. I'm not pulling up next to her car to try to steal his woman. She's an independent, individual human being with her own rights, with her own thoughts, feelings, and opinions. And she's allowed to have them. Now, for me, if I try to get help and say, hey, this dynamic that y'all got, if they don't want to admit to it, or they don't want to put a label on it yet, then it becomes very complicated because I use the wrong word. And I have to dance on fucking my tippy toes around a situation where I don't care if you're fucking, I need help. I don't care if you guys are not fucking and you're just cuddling. I need help. The three of us together are a great dynamic. Me individually with either one of them is a great dynamic. I'm a funny son of a bitch, and I'm good at pulling the funny out of people. Claire's pretty good at that too. So is Casey. But when it comes to being productive, it's not productive. This is a serious situation, and it's complicated, and people need to pay attention. With my little sister and her whole mating ritual with Ed, like, holy fuck. I needed Tara to stop doing the whole giggling schoolgirl thing with Ed while he was there. Ed didn't need to be there. He wasn't even supposed to be there. I am always, constantly having to give up my independence and my resources for help that I don't receive. None of these people care. It always comes around to them. They can't keep their word because, well, fine, I just saved you 7.5 hours. And I saved your back a whole lot more than that. Can we, I don't know, halve it? I saved you 7 hours of doing it by yourself. So could you spend maybe 3 hours helping me? Hanging out and talking about what I should be doing is not fucking help. So I'm overwhelmed. I'm exhausted. I can't keep doing this. I mean, what the fuck am I even doing here? I'm supposed to have help. It's at some point today. Jesus Christ, that's the problem with open-ended help. It never happens. When? Set up a time and make that time. Be there. If you say you're gonna take the time to fucking listen, then do it! If he sees me pull up by her vehicle, he wants to come and fucking play Captain Save-A-Ho. She's not a hoe. She doesn't need to be fucking saved at the moment. It's all well in hand. I know that you want to come across as the fucking good guy in the situation and you want to be the hero. Fine, you be the fucking hero. Fine, we'll use your fucking jumper cables. You weren't interested at the beginning when I said I'll dig out my jumper cables. Well, now you'll fucking do something. Fine, do it. Get your goddamn jumper cables. I have the jumper cables. Now I'm too retarded to set them up, right? Fine, you set them up. You can't figure it out because you're a fucking idiot? Then get out of the way. Let me do it. Maybe you're not an idiot. Maybe you're just there because you're trying to get attention. You think I'm trying to step in on your territory. She's not territory, dude. I'm trying to get the same help from her that I was trying to get from him when I realized he's never going to do anything. He's not going to stop and listen. With her one-on-one, maybe I could. I mean, after we went and talked to that lady at Care with him, thank goodness he went in with me. And he was going to talk about the situation and, you know, what happened there. He never got around to it. To this day, still never got around to it. Not only is he eating up my time with his stuff and him not following through, but now he's eating up the time with me and Claire able to get that done. It was scheduled for 11 yesterday. We scheduled it again for last night or yesterday afternoon. Again, same thing. And then last night, she was going to listen, but no, fucking he had to come over and get attention. I get it. He can have that attention. But let me have the time to get the shit I need done. I'm bending over backwards for you fucking people. I bend over backwards for everybody because I need fucking help. And then I gotta worry that if I say something, it's gonna be well, if you're gonna be ungrateful, we're just not gonna help you. And I have to worry about that. It's not that I'm unfucking grateful, it's that I'm not getting help. I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off for other people now. I am too broke to pay for all this shit. God damn it. I can't fucking do this. Do people, when you say, hey, I've spent all of this time doing what you wanted because you said if I do this or I do that, that you'll help. I've done what you asked. When are you going to keep your fucking word? When? And you say be patient. But when you want something, you want it right fucking now. Like Jamie Curtis or Veronica Bruce. Right now. Or Katie Cahill. Right now. Everybody wants it right fucking now. But everybody wants me to be fucking patient. Everybody says, yeah, Sean, I'll help you. And I end up doing all the helping. There is an appropriate time for interpersonal dynamics, for interpersonal relationships. Let's say you have a job at a real nice office building, right? Well, if somebody that you're flirting with is constantly there at the office and you're not getting anything done, and there are people depending on you, yeah, that's probably not a good dynamic for the workplace. When you say, hey, I can work from 9 to 5, and you get a 9 to 5 job, and from 9 to 5 you're flirting with somebody, you're not getting anything done. You shouldn't have gotten a 9 to 5 job if you're going to be flirting from 9 to 5. And that's the same thing with helping somebody. Now, if you're saying, hey, I'll help you to fix your vehicle, and instead you just spent an entire month of your time working on their vehicle, you're not getting anywhere. And it's even worse when you're working on their vehicle and they're nowhere to be fucking found. I'm fucking exhausted. I can't keep fucking doing this. I really need you to take some time if you can.
Yes, we are
As far as the
helping you with your stuff.
as far as the dynamics of it go, I can't handle both of you at the same time.
Yep.
Yesterday at 11
He's,
when we
he's
when we
gonna go
scheduled it,
help you today, and I have a couple bucks I'm gonna get from Casey for you.
it's not about the money. It's about
Yeah, the standing up for you and the talk about it.
it's about getting familiar with the situation.
Yep.
That's the thing is that one on one, I'm capable of doing that, but that's very much a complicated dynamic at this point.
We'll get that. Hopefully. Or maybe not. Have you ever pre-pulled papers? I'll teach you that. Oh, cripple. You okay? back. Okay, well, I'm gonna go down the street and go
I got a dog. Athena, let's get you some better water. Let's get you some better water. Let's get you some better water. Hey, Athena. You don't want to drink that, it makes you sick.
Yeah, antifreeze tastes good, but it's not good for you.
There's no sign. You never know.
She was never violent.
I will have a very serious conversation with that fight. Thank you very much for bringing your seems like an situation more turn to use it and make a difference as opposed to yeah. I guess my son was yeah, I can do that, you know.
You want to sit up there?
Athena, stop it! Yucky caca boo boo.
You also understand if I don't help people out when they're screwed,
You want up there?
They're
You
not
can lay in the back. She can lay in the car. I'll be right back.
dynamic we talked about on the first day.
Yes, you can lay in the car.
Can't
What up?
take care of themselves. They can't help you.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of them, but I am absolutely
Schedule. Schedule. If there's an appointment at 11, if it takes till 11:30, I can understand. If it's a no call, no show, that's first. If it's a bunch of no call, no shows, that's first. If it's hanging out thing, and it's time to do something, that's first. I'll get you people. That's like, yeah, it's you don't have people who listen to you very often. So you have something important on. Not just friend Brandon right now. We if I have heard it, that it's not good. They're doing something horrible, but at the same time, it feels horrible. You're at critical status. Yeah. You need shit looking down, and it's frustrating. I understand that. I've been on both sides of it, and honestly, the services, you need service in 2 weeks, because if you don't get it within 2 weeks, then you're gonna get railroaded in court for something costs you. So they tell you, all right, we got service for you in 6 weeks. Well, what good is that doing? But then you fill out the paperwork because you have to, at least you can. But then they say, oh, well, you didn't do it. Well, no, I actually did, but I don't have an address to have the mail sent to. And then I get a P.O. box. They say, oh, we can't send it to a P.O. box. We need your actual physical address. And I'm like, well, I don't have an actual physical address. I'm homeless. Well, that's not our fault. I didn't say it was your fault. You don't, government agencies, their triage, number one in their triage is, do they come in alone? If they come in alone, it's right out the door, especially if they're males. For me, charging up the batteries, that's not a big major thing, but it's also the fact that she's getting her vehicle fixed today, and that will totally help her out a whole bunch. That'll also alleviate any pressure as far as getting batteries for her. The batteries and gas for your vehicle is a major limiting factor in being able to help yourself, let alone anybody else. I don't know how to cure that type. As far as going down to that church, they didn't have to my ID. They just asked them to tell me. I think it would take about $40 worth.
Beautiful puppy.
And they said, all right, we'll meet us down at the Chevron and touch the shaft. I was hoping to be able to charge up the battery. I thought the plan was just to charge up the battery. And then yesterday morning when the church opened up, she was going to go down and get gas while she still had the battery charged. But then in the morning it was all discharged. Used to try to keep going. I do the same thing. But now I'm getting low on gas. Not real low. I mean, I filled it up completely yesterday morning. But all the running around that I've been doing is mostly for others. As far as going down to the Starbucks, we gotta formulate a battle plan, and that means knowing what's going on. And that's one of the big things is a lot of people they don't listen to what's going on in the situation, with the scenario, or they don't look at the evidence. The thing with going to the Starbucks was the last time, right before the feed started, and all that time that we ended up wasting with the computer. And that's all your fault, isn't it? No, it's not. That's all the computer's fault. The computer is slow. All of that evidence should have already been in the hands of law enforcement from the very start. If law enforcement would have done their jobs from Chapel, Nebraska, or Chesapeake, Virginia, in 2016 or 2017, none of this would have happened. Exactly. And it's one domino after another. After they railroad you in court, the public defenders didn't show up. You spent all of your disability money going to court. That's $100 because you got to go back to where you're being victimized in order to go to court there. So then you have to travel back to somewhere where you're not as victimized. And after what happened to Natalie, that's national news. It's international news. I mean, they make her story in French. They do it in German. They do it in a lot of different countries, different languages. And when I try explaining it to people, they don't look. They don't understand the dynamics of that, the actual impact of having your name slandered that way. And literally, nobody will look or speak. They all have their own things going on. They've got their kids they got to worry about, and a lot of other dynamics. And the thing is, that's not what the cops said. The cop said that I wasn't trying to get help and nobody would help me, probably because of the way that I act. And, for me, not having a complete and total meltdown, but it's a situation like this, after another situation like this, after another. And most of them are not with animal people, intelligent. Most of them are with that right.
going on a rant like I do. I don't feel any animosity towards anybody. I understand it. But understanding it is different from being in it. And I see you guys, cuddling, noodling. I'm not jealous. You guys are cuddling, noodling. I'm jealous that I need that time. Yeah, I don't want to sit on your lap or anything, although you do look like a cuddly teddy bear.
I admire your uses of humor. You've got one hell of a sense of humor, and you're able to your quick wit is awesome.
Yeah,
You've got a brain.
I got a Lamborghini. My Lamborghinis take me everywhere, but my brain is insane. I try explaining to people that I don't have a one-track mind. I had to design my brain, if that makes any sense. When I was a kid, there was too much going on because everything around me gets sucked in as information, and I got to be able to process it. So what I did, I made myself a room with a table in the middle. It's like a Lego set in my head. But then there were so many thoughts that were going on at one point in time that I had to make rooms in my head for each of the different thought processes. Yep. Absolutely. And that's one of the ways where when I was studying boats and studying airplanes, I had two rooms of thought going on. One of them about airplanes, one about boats, and then one about windmills. And then, of course, since they're all three going on at the same time, they kind of cross each other once in a while, and I come up with great ideas like using a pinwheel for a sail. It's a good idea.
Temporary conference rooms that house all of them.
Turn it sideways like this, exactly, like conference room. You turn it sideways, and of course, that air that's hitting it, since it's not, the way a pinwheel normally would be, it's at the top of the rotor. When the wind hits it, it'll actually provide lift to the vehicle as well. And this is all stuff that I was able to figure out because I can't just have one train of thought going. But then people think because I can't speak so well most of the time, that it's because I'm retarded and I only have one track mind. My brain goes too fast. That's why I stutter. It's also one of the things that if my words don't come out perfectly, like if somebody is continually talking over me and I never get to say what I'm trying to, then my words aren't going to come out very well, and I'm going to get frustrated, and then I'm going to get treated like a bad guy because I'm frustrated.
And that's should not be the case. Shouldn't be a thing. I'm sorry, that's something that you have to deal with.
Well, it's all your fault because you look like Captain Kangaroo. I'm trying to be narcissistic. It's a matter of one-on-one. It's easier to explain. If it's not one-on-one, then it becomes a power struggle and control and attention issue. And
That's
people
been
don't
your
even intend for it.
that's how it has played out in the past.
Now, when we run into new people, it's difficult not to judge them based on history, but the fact is that that's what we have to base our decisions on.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a lot of people that did not intend me harm, and they did not listen to shit. There's one guy who tried to send me some money pretend like he was going to send me some money, sent me a bunch of screenshots of this thing where he was going to send me money, but he didn't actually send it. He did give me a notification because I can't do that. So I knew that he was just pretending like he was going to send me money. I explained to him that he can send it via Western Union, and I also explained to him that not the money is important. I mean, I do need the money. The longer it takes to get this stuff done, like it takes somebody 6 months to speak up, that's 6 months worth of resources that I have to spend to get and stay alive to the point that I can actually get them to speak. There was another point that I was going to make about that, but I went off on a different tangent.
Please.
But I don't know. By the time it gets to the point where I'm having a communication issue, I've usually been at it for 3 to 5 days or longer. And it's just at that point I don't communicate correctly.
Joanna Felix Smith, and she was, boyfriend Derek married. They were arguing over stuff incredibly fucking stupid. But he didn't want to argue with her because it is interpersonal dynamics with her. They live in the same household. I'm just a yes. So he spent 3 days, literally 3 days, yelling. One of my words didn't come out right 3 days earlier while they were having an argument. Now, if it hadn't been for the fact that he had turned on me during the argument and asked me a question, that I didn't want to get into their argument. It wasn't my business. It was their interpersonal argument. So just like Shannon Alvarado always wanted me to put me into the boyfriend performance. What do you think, Sean? I think that you should make your decision in the morning. I just didn't say myself. And with him, after 3 days, he ended up assaulting me over the situation. Now, for 3 days, it was me and him, and there was always other people in the house that came shouting at you for, and I wasn't shouting. He was the one doing all the shouting. So finally, I convinced him that he would take a walk with me, and all he wanted to do was fight. So, of course, he did the posturing thing and putting his fist back thing and all that. When he reached out to grab me, he's either going to hit me or he's not. But I stepped in the direction. Tried to give him a hug to let him know, hey, dude, I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm hunkered down here. But I didn't get the chance to give him a hug. And I'm not talking about like a hug as in, oh, I love you. I'm talking about a defensive thing. But, I do love the guy. I wasn't trying to hurt him. He got me into a headlock. He's like, I was just trying to hug you. You weren't trying to hug me. That was a headlock. And I wouldn't have to step in. If I'd have been trying to hit you, I would have hit you. Well, that's the thing. That you were, first of all, posturing, and then you telegraphed. And as soon as you telegraphed the punch, that let me know that I needed to step in and start reaching on you and hide. I grew up in a system like the wall about getting my ass whooped by somebody who's got reach. It sucks trying to go for the legs when somebody's like that, and that's about the only opportunity for somebody like me. And if my back fucked up, I can't go for some big legs. By the time he did that, I was too fucked up, physically to defend myself against him in any way, shape, or form. And he wasn't getting that, and still didn't. Like so now instead of telling you about the stuff that needs to get done, instead going off on a rant about this, there's some important things to know about autism. Just like everybody else, moving is stressful. It's more stressful for us. Familiarity is important, and keeping your timetable is important because we're used to. First of all, a lot of us get shipped around from place to place because we get treated like we're schizophrenic. And a lot of hospitals and doctors are not familiar enough with autism to know. Even doctors, a lot of doctors will admit that they're ignorant when it comes to autism. Yeah, there's still a big medical debate over whether high functioning autism is the same as autism. Like, they're saying now that a lot of the situations, and I've been saying this for years, nobody listens to me, but a lot of women who are diagnosed, they say it's difficult to diagnose an adult with autism. Later in life, it's a lot more difficult. But women are more likely to get autism diagnosis in their mid to late 20s and early 30s because of severe drug use that gives them autism-like traits. And many of those traits are actually PTSD traits, and that comes from being out on the streets with the drug trade. We got a lot of women in Natalie's life that were part of gang stalking me, and a lot of men too. Because when a woman's pissed off, it's not just her; it's also her boyfriend or her husband. All of their kids. And pretty soon, you've got a dynamic where just one girl is pissed off, you get your ass whipped. It's called a drug-induced psychosis. So for me, trying to get people to look at evidence of what I've been going through and speak up that it actually exists. The first part is speaking up on YouTube so that it's public, so that it can show that I'm not hiding it. Second thing is making sure that it's turned into whatever organization it needs to be turned into, and that takes work on the computer, which means I have to have a place to do it. If mine's screwed up back, me carrying stuff in and out of the library every day like people keep suggesting, that's not possible. Just picking up those batteries yesterday, I had to sit in my car for about 45 minutes just talking to my phone until I was able to move, and I don't want to like dump that on people, but I also at the same time it's a lot more than I'm capable of. And with my vehicle being the only one that's running and only one seat in it available, it's not like I would take one of you guys to do it. With the constant moving and also having physical disabilities, there's all that kind of stuff that when people see me doing those things to myself, they don't understand I'm going to be laid up for a couple of days. When people want help, they want it right now. When people need help, they need it right now. And with me, I need help right now. It ends up me being a helper. I've said that probably about 10 times. And that's one of the issues with being overwhelmed is that I just didn't get together. Well, the issue with the cops is blowing off and blowing off and blowing off. So I don't have a mental breakdown from all the abuse that I'm getting. The fact that I've gone to everybody, including witnesses who were there and present and saw it and heard it. And they're saying, oh, I'll do it in a couple of days. I'll do it next week. I've got this going on. I've got that going on.
It just never comes that time around for you.
Yes, and there's the fact that I'm intelligent. So they use the fact that I'm intelligent. I have the right to be a disabled person. Then they use the fact that I'm disabled, that I need the rights of an intelligent person. And really, what I need is somebody who can take a look at that stuff and realize I need a guardian and something to stick with. Now, whether or not that person can be my guardian is arbitrary. That person, if they're helping me out, I can sign a paperwork that allows them to speak up for me. And that's what I usually do with people. When people think that autistic people are all schizophrenic retards, bashing themselves off the rugby and football helmets, it doesn't do anything in our favor. Also, police officers are allowed to call community law and confirm well, all of the officers that I tried to turn in did this. And that's what shows that I'm the one who is correct and they're the ones who had criminal intent. Just because after I announced publicly that I was going to try to turn them in, they broke the law repeatedly to prevent me from turning them in, including committing false charges. And that actually forced me to have to break the law to try to get people to see evidence. And nobody should have to do that. I was supposed to have a case manager because I was on disability. I never had a case manager at any point in time.
Who was in charge of seeing that happen?
Well, I am.
Well, yeah, no, what organization?
It's supposed to be my guardian or advocate, but I didn't have one. And it's supposed to be through the Department of Health and Human Services. I did at one point in time, they were supposed to move me up to an ADA coordinator when I was in prison. Remember I told you I was in prison for false charges?
Yeah.
There's 4 people that I was trying to turn in. All 4 of them lied and had me incarcerated on misdemeanors. I was physically, emotionally, and psychologically tortured in jail as well as sexually assaulted by the guards, which is not okay. Yeah, well, they didn't like buff up me or anything like that. They literally tore my clothes off of my body and made sure she ain't in a fashion that they would be screwing up my equipment. They were going out of their way to basically punish me as cruel as they could. Meanwhile, I wasn't convicted of shit. I never should have been in prison. But when I explain to people that, they're like, oh, you're full of shit. You don't go to prison unless you're a convicted felon. No, look it up. And people don't look it up. They just run with their assumptions, and then I must be a bad man because they're assuming. Kind of like people assuming that if they ignore it long enough, that it's going to stop.
Magically go away. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's not the case.
So as far as interpersonal dynamics go, absolutely those are important. Not for me, not in any sort of
experience that when two people try and help, that it's just easier to have one over two. Now, the thing is
one at a time to begin with. Is communication issues.
she's very intelligent. I'm very intelligent. We can both. It's just kind of what would work better for you, being as though you're the one in crisis mode. You need the help. What would work best for you?
Well, the person who can help most is her, just because she understands a lot of the dynamics as well as she understands both. And that is a real key factor. She might even know some of the offices that would be. And if she went to my friend's place, she'd be able to see a lot of people in the she would probably know. Okay. There's also situations now if she was able to read me and hers the messages to me, especially if I was able to read the parts that I typed and she read the parts that I did, then we could get out there on YouTube for everybody. As far as one-on-one
Shit, that's a great idea.
well, one of the other things though is as far as you guys, I always want to record. So if it's a one-on-one thing, that's because the communication issue. That doesn't mean that you can't watch it live on YouTube. And just happen. That doesn't mean that you can't listen to it later on with your own. And it doesn't mean that I won't share it with you as well. It's the one-on-one. Like yesterday, we were throwing Josie playing it was 11 and you can come live and we were going to and then we rescheduled it for later on in the afternoon and she had lunch running around doing some reviews and then last night she was going to and he showed up right at that time. I didn't realize that was a thing where he thinks that I'm trying to move in.
Oh God, I can't even know if you
I do want to come with you.
she would be a very willing recipient. She loves the place.
Athena.
There must have been a miscommunication there, and I do apologize that was never trying to. Dude, I'm not that guy.
I know. And that's the thing with it. I did try to say something a couple of times, but she was speaking before I got to get it out, and then you spoke
no.
before I was able to get the information out. So I just got frustrated and left. I went, all right, I'm gonna go fucking take a breather. I'm gonna bitch at my fucking YouTube. I'm gonna fucking complain about interpersonal dynamics, and I'm gonna explain that there's no animosity because nobody's doing it out of hatred. And also, of course, if you explain things to people one-on-one, they're easier to understand. But if you do it, if you do it in front of people, like let's say I was having a discussion with you in front of your mom or your grandma, then it becomes a control issue because it's a challenge is what it is socially, and that's part of us being pack animals.
I'm still listening. I'm looking for the dog shit there.
Let me see if I got a dog shit back.
Where the hell? There it is. Dagnabbit. Hey Athena. Hey Athena. How you doing? How you doing? I'm checking. I might have some in here, but I'm not seeing any. Good girl. There's a bag. There's a bag right there. Uh, I see you, Athena. Oh, you is such a cutie. Anyway, one thing is, like as far as mutual benefit, a lot of people, it's when it becomes a matter of helping people, then people will throw the help in your face later on. I did this and I did that. Whereas if it's mutually beneficial, that's better for everybody, and that makes it more likely that people will stick together until the goal is done. When it comes to helping you, I can't have it be a situation where you're ending up with nothing out of helping me, and I can't have it be a situation where she's ending up with nothing out of helping me. And obviously can't do it where I'm someone who ends up with nothing out of doing it too. The other thing is, I believe that it would probably be a very good thing if we could get all three of us together when we have our jam sessions and just fucking go at it on my YouTube channel, and people could listen to the dynamics and understand the dynamics a bit better. And because there's multiple people who have been through multiple situations that are similar, it shows that it's not just some schizophrenic friggin' nut job whining on YouTube because he didn't get his pecker touched, which is what people try to insinuate. I'm like, my pecker does get touched. I play with myself all the time. Kind of like, most of the time I'm not vulgar, but I know how. I know how to talk like a man. Am I wrong?
No.
Well, go ahead.
Keep it in mind. Been times in which people try to get sneaky.
Yes, indeed, including cops. I've had them just sit right across the street from my vehicle, and as soon as I left to go to the bathroom, they walked over towards my vehicle. So I turned around and went back to my vehicle. I'm like, I'd rather piss myself than lose my car. It's full of evidence. Yeah.
Well, what do you say you do the one-on-ones with Claire and really get familiar. Sounds like she would be more suited to help with the Colorado thing, just like you were saying. You might even know some of the same people.
No.
Just to make it more comfortable for you at first, record them if you want to chew on. And if when we do like you're building your thing, or we'll call it arts and crafts time. We could all do that and have the jam sessions with all three of us and kind of let the conversation
We are
go.
fucking funny.
Huh?
We are funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only real stressor there is, with me, with organizing the time and getting the time, and then, when it all comes down to it, that time I can't get it back, and that's one of the things about 6 years of it. Most people get just downright irate, and most people won't talk to you one-on-one, especially when they know that they've done something screwed up. But when you explain it to them one-on-one, they can understand that you don't hate them for it. But if you don't get to talk to them one-on-one, then it can quickly become a hatred thing. Like, why are you blaming me? Holy shit, I wasn't trying to blame you. I was trying to explain how it affected me. Big difference. But if you're not willing to come forward or understand how it affects me, then yes, at this point it does become your fault. And, with a lot of folks, I try to explain to them it's not just them, and they want to take it personal and make it about them. And if they was to look at my evidence, they'd realize that there's hundreds of people just like them who
Well, when you realize that there's hundreds of them, you realize why it is that
Go get it. Go get the ball.
when all this first started, it took me, all right, from when Natalie was killed to the point that I fucking had to completely flip shit was like 7 months. Now I flip on people in just a day or two. I'm like, I don't want to deal with bullshit. I don't want to run around in circles for somebody who's going to be too busy running around in circles. I need to make sure that it is a mutually beneficial thing. We know that overhead is impossible for any homeless person. If you don't at least pair up, then you end up screwed because you're not going to get up and out on one paycheck. And there's also the fact that many hands make the light work. If we invest everything into just one person, though, and it's not spread out between all three, and we're not actually utilizing the time to get something effective done, like flying a sign, for example. You can fly a sign and talk shit at the same time. You can fly a sign and make jokes at the same time, or things like that. There's a lot of dynamics where if there's something that I'm able to do, then I'll do it. If I'm not able to do, I can say I'm not able to. But as a matter of apportioning time, it's important to make sure everybody is apportioned an appropriate amount of time. And as far as interpersonal relationships, I'm not interested in none of that. So that'll apportion everybody extra time for that. That'll apportion me extra time for my video games or for searching through evidence.
And being able to enjoy whatever activity it is that you choose to do on your time that you're not working on information because you know things are getting taken care of and moving towards the outcome that you need.
Yep, one of the things for helping to take my mind off of how much things sucks is being able to build stuff. But the same problem with going through my evidence, that's the same problem I have with building stuff. I don't have a place to do it. Now, as far as a lot of the evidence that I want to be able to show you and Claire, of course, when I'm explaining it to her, it'll just be the explanation. But when I show you guys the evidence, there was a point to that. Oh yeah, with me not being able to take care of myself. A lot of people think that because I'm intelligent that my disabilities don't exist. Now it's obvious they do exist. It's obvious that I am also intelligent. So
Hey, yucky caca poo poo.
that is gross.
No.
Cat shit breath. Anyway, with the DHHS, they do need to get on this shit and understand I can't take care of myself and that I am being victimized. They need to actually look at the evidence, which means I have to have someone who turns it in actually with me. Like instead of that's the part that their triage. If it's not with you, then they'll pretend it didn't happen, or they'll talk to the cops, but the cops will say, well, how do we know you didn't write that? All sorts of bullshit. And with a lot of people, like there's a lady named Maggie at the one of the Starbucks in Cheyenne, and she did try speaking up on YouTube a little bit, but she got messed with, and then she blocked me. And it's understandable. I mean, when people start harassing me the way that people have been harassing the people that help me, it is understandable. But it's also the fact that I do have the evidence of it. Someone needs to look at it. That first day that I spoke with you, I had 3 different accounts that are full of evidence that are important to make sure they don't get lost or destroyed. 2 of them were destroyed already. So I got to go through, yeah, well, that's why I was trying to get you to listen. But you had your friend who needed help, and then there was the fire over there, and then there was the 3 days with your telephone and the, life happening. I've got recording after recording with me and the DHS, with me explaining this to them in multiple locations. I've also got the DHS, as soon as they find out there were police involved in a lot of this, the first thing they start doing is, the preemptive playing victim, and then if you
don't just disappear when they try doing the preemptive playing victim crap, and they'll just straight up pretend like they're being victimized and call the cops and say we're afraid. Meanwhile, I've got the situation with the cops repeatedly denying me the rights of a human being. I've got them repeatedly pulling fucking shady bullshit after shady bullshit. I've got them telling me to go to agencies that don't do what they say they do. I've also got witnesses in multiple locations about how all of these services have been informed that these other services don't do these things. They're intentionally sending us around in circles. Like the place in town for domestic violence is called Tides of Change. Well, Tides of Change, those aren't mandated reporters apparently. So why I was sent to them when I was needing to speak to a mandated reporter, I don't know. The fact that they told me they could help me with that stuff, and then 3 weeks later, somehow magically they can't, is fucking bullshit. The fact that that lady sat through with me talking to that officer, and that officer outright broke the law multiple times while he was listening. I do that with bunny ears. And she didn't catch it, or she probably did, she just didn't speak up. That shows, what is it, collusion and collaboration? And that's not okay either. Now, if she's saying, dude, it fucking smells like shit, don't touch me with that. Oh my God. Oh, dude.
You just went and ate a pile, you jackass.
Oh.
No, yucky caca boo boo, go.
She touched my nose with it, and now it won't stop stinking. Oh.
So possible idea. Say we go to where there's internet and just download a whole bunch of things that you would need the internet for. Put them on a something that we can take out to the campsite with us. That way we can go and have a couple of days where we can do arts and crafts, build.
I got 4 phones that are full of evidence, and I got 2 computers full of evidence, and one of them that hasn't been touched since my little sister's stupid friend wiped the whole goddamn thing. He was supposed to give me a bid, not wipe my computer of evidence. No, I just have a beard. But the DHS trying to get that paperwork, that's probably pretty important for today, but I do have to turn in Molly, and I do have to turn in the situation with Farnsworth, and those both I need people for too. The problem is that, like, in the process of waiting for help, more crimes are committed against me, and then I have like 10 crimes I got to turn in all at once, and nobody's going to take that time.
Big fucking pain when that snowball starts rolling.
It is. Because, all right, let's say somebody says they're going to help you, right? And you spend 2 days helping them, and they're going to help you turn in a crime. After you help them for 2 days, they got a bunch of other stuff they got to do, and another crime is committed against you. Well, now you need help because you got 2 crimes to turn in. So if you spend 2 days helping that person so that you can turn in the second crime, maybe they'll help you turn in the second crime and the first crime. Well, then you spent 4 days for hopefully help, but you haven't gotten to turn in any crimes. Now imagine 6 years of that.
I would be going insane.
I am insane. I am completely batshit fucking bonkers from this. I cannot take care of myself because this is nuts.
Nope, stay this side.
I had people right after Natalie died looking at what I was going through just then, and they said, dude, I would have fucking killed myself. Well, I did try. It's too bad I didn't have a do not resuscitate.
No. Come here. Good.
A lot of that computer stuff, I would need somebody who's good with computers to help me with it. For right now, I think it's probably the most important thing is trying to get something done with the DHS to get that going. If they tell us that we got to do it over the computer, we'll do it over the computer. If they tell us we got to do it
Over the paper, we do it over the paper. The other thing is, I've got a lot of experience in doing this stuff as a community liaison in Boulder, which means that I can go with you guys and help you guys with it as well. I also have experience in all of their tactics as far as blowing people off and looking the other way. With the recording devices, it allows us to record it. They're not allowed to turn us down for services based on whether or not we record it. They don't have the right to privacy because of where they work, and they already know that. That's one of the things about being a mandated reporter is that they have to turn it in. But if they don't, you don't have any evidence that they did or didn't. That's why you have to have a parent or guardian there, or an advocate who's going to speak up and say, you know, Sean did actually do those things, and you guys are calling him schizophrenic for telling the truth. These people did actually tell Sean those things. He does have it recorded, and you guys pretending that he's delusional for saying things that there's blatant evidence of is bullshit. You know, when it comes to fighting for somebody's rights, it means actually fighting sometimes, and I don't mean physically.
You got to turn this shit into yucky caca popo. Turn this shit into VHS today.
I don't have to do it today, but I really need to get it started as soon as possible. And doing it today would be way better than doing it in 4 days. But the other thing is, if we were to go down and get the paperwork, and if it's just paperwork, then we could go do the panhandling thing and fill out the paperwork at the same time. You're shit for gas.
A lot of a lot of DHS forms can be brought up online and then printed out into printed off at where the
Well, I have a printer. It doesn't work. Needs plugged in. As far as the forms go, I actually have a printer for all that stuff. The problem is having a place to. It's not. I have to be able to plug it in somewhere. With my back, I can't dig it out and carry it into the places where I might be able to use it. And where would I use it?
I have a power inverter and like 6 batteries. No, come.
So as long as we're parked next to somebody who's got internet. I know they have it at Fred Meyer's, and they have it over at the laundromat. And
over, let's see, where we were parked by the museum, there's free open Wi-Fi there, as well as right in front of Cricket. I have the password to their Wi-Fi.
it's because your friend works there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely an idea. But I guess it all starts off with going down there. Now, I just don't know how I'm going to strap you to my car.
Going down where?
DHS.
Oh, we can, no, like I said, we can get all that ball rolling on that. The only thing that they would do at DHS if you went down there in person was to give you the forms that we would need to fill out that we could just print off.
Well, because I was already enrolled with them, they're supposed to, if I go in person, they're supposed to be able to give me a caseworker there.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So they should have done that last time.
Well, I didn't talk to them last time because I only went in with your stuff. There's a lot of stuff they're supposed to do that they don't do if it's just you, especially if just you is homeless. A lot of the stuff that they told Claire is stuff that they told me too, that I know for a fact is incorrect. Because, well, if they'll do it for somebody else and they can't do it for you, then they are breaking the law when it comes to law enforcement. If somebody is stalking you, just because you're a male doesn't mean that it's okay to stalk you.
No, there are no gender variations to any law written ever.
But the reality of it is we all hold bias.
Well, yeah, but legally those can't be called into account in your question. That people is just people. A people is just a people.
But your bias can be called in. Like if you're
Your personal
racist,
politics,
if,
Tim?
if you don't like black people, and all right, Mark Furman told a joke like 20 years before the O.J. Simpson trial. It was like 20 years before the O.J. Simpson trial. He told a racist joke, so he will forever be known as the racist cop. Matter of fact, his that joke was one of the key things that was used to say that O.J. Simpson was targeted because he was black.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, but of course, we've also trained black people that everything that happens wrong in their life is white people's fault because white power and white people hate everybody who isn't white. So anytime that there's an issue or a black person is victimized because they're homeless, it's automatically because they're black. It's a black thing. It's an anti-black thing, and they never get away with it because they're homeless. Now, if it's a black person in a house who is confused with a homeless person, because everybody knows in a liberal neighborhood you don't mess with the black folks. But if they look homeless, they're a homeless person. They're no longer a black person, and you can do whatever you want. They did that to Zayd Atkinson. Well, digging out my computer will be, or digging out my printer will be a pain in the ass. But if we can print out the forms, but the important thing is to always make an official in-office visit with another human being. That shows them that you have someone there who does care about your well-being, and that is what is important for getting their triage to not blow you off.
I'll strap on a couple of machetes when we go in.
You can't say that. They'll say you're making terroristic threats.
Well, I won't say anything while we're in there. I'll just, be obvious that I'm carrying a not concealed weapon.
Right? It's too late to be the Unabomber. It's already October.
Besides, it's already been done. I'm going to be the Una-shedier.
I said Unabomber.
I said,
like
unicycle.
like June, July, the July bomber, August the bomber. Some of those might actually be real names of bombers, though. So now I'm worried that somebody's gonna think
Then it would become Nintendo's fault because back in '92 they released a video game called Bomberman.
Oh! They also had Running Man.
All those guys were black. It was a pixel thing, but I mean, their representations, they were all.
No, they were black with stripes.
Okay, so they foresaw this coming.
Black with neon stripes. But the thing, like, throughout all this, when we've trained people to believe that everything that happens wrong, everything that goes wrong, every time that they're targeted for bullying or meanness, that it must be the color of their skin, then we've taught them that they are systematically victims because of their skin. And the reality of it is, it has more to do with poverty than anything else. And then we get told that it's white people's fault. How many slaves have you owned?
Like 27, but that was mostly D&D.
Right. I've never owned a slave. But I get stuff that I'm told it's my fault that other people did these things and that I must take responsible for the actions of others. I'm like, fuck you. I take responsibility for my actions, and I already take responsibility for the actions of plenty of other people that couldn't be honest.
Come.
But yeah, the in-person thing is the most important step. That's when I went and talked to the lawyers before Natalie was killed. They said, if they're calling you mentally ill, you need an advocate and you need a guardian. Do you have family or friends that are able or willing to do that? And I said, no. My family don't give a shit about me. They might rip me off, and like reading the future, sure enough, they did. Oh, I'll help you. Oh, I've got $1,800 of your money and you're broke. Oh, I'm not going to help you anymore.
It's fucked up, but it's the reality of it.
It is. And that's one of the greatest things about the dynamic with you two is both of you understand the dynamics. And depending on where at, you know, one of you might know or understand the dynamics more than the other.
Yeah.
With her knowing about the Colorado stuff, you know, she does have a lot more useful firsthand knowledge, which is important.
Absolutely.
With here, you know, there's the situation with Molly that was definitely a major issue that needs to be turned in. And then there's the thing with Farnsworth. Although he got arrested yesterday morning, that stuff still needs to be turned in. I got a whole list of the witnesses. But as far as going down, and I think probably the best thing to do would be to go down around probably 2 o'clock or 2:30, and then work on stuff a little bit after that and find out exactly what they want, and then download just that stuff, because otherwise we'll end up downloading a whole bunch of stuff in triplicate we don't need.
True.
And that'll also allow me to go down to Starbucks, clear off my audio recording device so that I can use it when we go in.
Okay.
Also, since both of you are fine with being recorded, when we do stuff like that, I will make sure it's recorded. Also, I think that just the interest of my channel being fucking lame as shit, and the fact that I don't put on the stuff where I'm interacting with people, like people don't get to see how I interact with you and Claire off camera. And yeah, that's completely different. I think getting together and just having to hang out with the thing recording would be pretty badass a time or two. Especially last night. Last night was fucking great. Oh.
Well, do you want to proceed with your idea of what will work best?
Well, I want to start off by well, I should probably start off by putting everybody's numbers down, and also trying to show the stuff that I can. With the Natalie stuff, I'd be showing to Claire mostly, and with the stuff here, and also all the way to Hood River, that stuff I'd probably try to show to you.
Okay.
I can do most of that with my phone. There is some stuff with some trolls I'm not able to do with my phone, which is one of the reasons that I'm wanting to get to Starbucks and sit down and do it, is because I can actually pull out my computer. My computer won't work unless it's plugged in because the battery's shit. So that's the reason for needing it to do it that way.
With my multiple batteries set up and power inverter, I've got a 750 watt inverter. I've got a flat screen TV, a 5 DVD player, and a fan I can have going. I can run.
And that's why all your batteries are dead.
And that's why. Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right.
That's a dynamic that is tough to get past. The gas.
I wouldn't say that we'd be running the TV and DVD player and all that shit while we're printing or you got your laptop on, but that is a safe, contained way to do it, to where we don't need to rely on being in an establishment. I'm offering you that power, right? Access to the things that I have to help.
Absolutely. Well, for right now with the dead batteries, it's probably better if I go down and take care of it in person, either at the Starbucks. I have been going down and getting just the dollar coffees at McDonald's, because I can sit outside and use some of my electronics, like the tablet that I have I can use there.
Yep.
But the tablet, it requires a lot of complicated shit in order to try to set it up so that it'll actually do any of the things that my computer can do, and it also won't have access to most of that.
Do you have I want to send you a link to a VPN that I found that's completely free. It's a plug and play. You download it and it just starts and runs forever for free. It's pretty awesome. You can set your location and not be you while you're accessing information. If it's an issue of trollers, you can.
Well, all right. So one of the things that I do, I was informed of a whole bunch of stuff that'll red flag me. So hopefully the FBI will do their fucking job. If I have a VPN, then that doesn't work. One of the things is if you look up beheadings and shit like that, then you get red flags. So I'll, type that shit in there and let my phone fucking run for a while doing that so that, of course, I can't watch that shit because it grosses me out. But it's the fact that because it's something that's looked up, then it means that you end up red flagged and then they are
Is that
supposed
red
to look
flag
in.
forever?
Hopefully, but it hasn't been red flagged yet. They won't look at anything.
'Cause I went through a phase where that was like rotten.com and the
Yeah.
weird shit. Yeah, I was going through a phase.
Well,
That might be red flag.
the thing is, all right, I was told that I was doing it wrong because I was just looking it up regular like, and I was told, all right, what you need to do, what really makes them so they want to look at your profile is you have to do it incognito. Because although incognito is supposed to mean they can't take a look at it, the fact is that when you go incognito, you're trying to hide something, and that gives them permission to look at it. So what you got to do is when you look up porn, you got to look up your porn incognito. When you look up people getting their heads chopped off, you have to look it up incognito. Now, the biggest problem that I have is I was told, all right, you have to look into the family porn. The problem is that that doesn't work. The reason for that is because it's the most popular pornography in America. So if they tag you for looking that shit up, they have to tag everybody in America. So that doesn't actually work. You have to actually look up, beheadings and crap
Where
like
to
that.
buy assault rifles and
Yes.
yeah.
Even that's not enough. All right. When that guy was blackmailing me to make that AR-15,
Yeah.
I did that with my government pay card. They pay me my money to the government direct express card. It's a government issued fucking card. I ordered those parts and I had to have help. Like I said, anything electronic like that, I need someone there with me because I'll fuck it up. So he was there with me and helped me set it up so that I could use my credit card, my government issued credit card, to buy these things, these 80% kits online. Right? So I'm like, all right, this has got to red flag me. I am waiting at this point. Any moment, any day now, there's going to be an FBI agent that is going to come to my door. There's all sorts of stuff on YouTube about people saying, hey, I ordered the 80% kit and cops showed up.
Athena, there's a dog that is walking down the street that she might have
Athena!
Oh, she's over here. I'll just let her. She listens really well most of the time, but there's a couple of dogs that she will just dart into traffic for.
What was I going off about?
Red flag, and you used your.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The red flags. So you'd think with a government direct express card that has 3 AR-15 kits ordered through it and other various gun parts
With midget
and ammunition.
and AR-15, best possible locations for a sniper situation, or Google some really obscure shit.
But it doesn't work. I've tried it all. But the other thing is, as far as being forced to make that gun, I went to multiple people to try to get help turning it in and turning that guy in. And all the places that I was supposed to go to.
Get out of there.
No.
Like,
And
smell of ginger wasn't enough.
they were just wanting to give me bad advice and illegal advice. In the state of Nebraska, everyone is a mandated reporter. I am an at-risk adult, and those people did take advantage of me. So I ended up actually having to manufacture the firearm. It is still sitting in Chapel, Nebraska, and I'm still trying to turn it in long distance now because I'm worried about that thing getting used to fucking shoot up a school. And besides that, the guy whose house it's at, he's got some issues with his father-in-law and a few other of his relatives. He's also a meth addict, and he has paranoid delusions, and I do believe he might be schizophrenic. And of course, I got recordings with all of these people that show that I'm telling the truth.
Right here. So that's just a whole shitstorm of why you should be worried about. Yeah, no, I get that.
Yep. But on the bright side, it's your fault and it's Claire's fault.
All right.
And Athena's fault.
You hear that? It's more your fault than my fault. All right. Well, hey, do you guys want to get started on that? and then we can reconvene. You guys get some good.
So you wanna reconvene what here at 2:30?
Honestly, I'm not sure what time it is.
That'd give me some panhandling time too as well.
Yeah.
It's 10:29, so that'd be like 4 hours.
Okay. Put a little bit of time in the van. Put a little bit of time in the van. One-on-one. Be familiar with. Might be a good idea to put together a plan of action, a plan of attack.
Yes, a plan of action, POA. But also, although I'm really, struggling and having a lot of anxiety that's creating some issues for me right now, I do think that it's important that all three of us get something out of working together. And that's the thing I was trying to explain about help. If you've got one person that you're helping, you say that you'll help them with something, but then you end up just giving them a sandwich, and then you throw the sandwich in their face later. Yeah, I gave you a sandwich. I gave you a sandwich. And the thing is that dynamic doesn't work. When a family does that, it's not help in the same way. It's working together. And if it's not mutually beneficial, people don't stick around.
That's understandable.
So we got to make sure that you're not wasting your time.
Something that you do need to take into account, though, is that I'm not that self-righteous, asshole that I'm not anyone like you've ever worked with in the past. And from what I can see and have experienced with Claire, she's not like that at all.
She's pretty badass.
Want to fucking help. So if that's going to take away from meeting the things that you need to get done, after all, this is you're in crisis mode. You're the one that needs help. Don't put too much into. I mean, yes, no, that you're absolutely right. That's a good way to cover your ass or whatever. But these are things that with us you don't have to worry about. I mean, I can't speak for her, for Claire, but I can speak for myself.
When you've been kicked as a dog, it's okay to be leery of people. And once you get, I said, when you've been kicked around as a dog, it's okay to be leery of people.
Absolutely.
And once you get to working with somebody,
Yes.
go ahead.
Is that against your fucking vehicle? If you didn't get enough shit smell this
I can still smell it, yeah. But
That's terrible. I'm sorry.
the thing is, if it's helping, it's not beneficial to anybody. If it's working together, that's beneficial for everyone, and all parties need to get something out of it. If let's say I spend a full 7 hours during the day helping you out, now I wouldn't expect a full 7 hours of help out of you the next day. That's just rude. You still got to make your ends meet. But if you could half it and go, well, I could probably spend 3 hours. I could probably spend 3 hours helping. I know that's only half what you were given as help, but at the same time, it's a matter of the immediate needs need to be taken care of first. Claire's vehicle is an immediate need. We know that at 2 o'clock that she's going to be getting that repaired, and after that, it's going to be trying to make sure that she's got gas for her vehicle. It's better on gas than yours, thank goodness. Yours is going to be a bitch every day.
I might just take my turd up into the mountains and leave it there.
Right. Well, if we had 3 people, because 3 people is about the only way to do it effectively. That way 2 people can always go to appointments and 1 person can watch everyone's gear. But you have to trust everyone there. And that's the thing with establishing trust. When everybody is used to getting kicked in the balls, it's hard not to expect the next kick in the balls.
That is very true. That is very true. But I think there might be something to that about keeping that whole dynamic, what you just said, having one person actively engaging in the situation and one kind of staying behind, making sure nobody shit gets fucked with. That's solid.
Yep. There's also the fact that you have stuff that you've got going on, and it's good, solid reasoning. She's got stuff that she's got going on. It's good, solid reasoning, and all of us are flopping doing it solo.
You're absolutely right.
Like with them people in the fucking Honda following you because you tried. That's just bullshit.
And those kids, I keep seeing those fucking kids. I've never seen them before, and I've been out here for a little while. I know most people out here. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not. Yeah, it is bullshit. Not trying to make this my issue because it's not. Athena, no, come. Oh, you know who that is. Go get her. Go get her. Go get her.
Well, one of the important things is I know that Claire has already explained she does understand my frustration, and you understand my frustration. And
Absolutely.
as far as y'all taking it personal, if I try to, confront both of you at the same time like an asshole, then absolutely. But if it's a one-on-one thing, I don't mind information sharing. Anything that I say, I'm not saying it about you because I'm trying to hide something from you. I'm saying it about you in a one-on-one situation just because it's an interrupting thing. If there's a dynamic with you, I'm not hiding it. If there's a dynamic with me, I'm not hiding it either.
We're adults. We're not wrapped up into the. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
We're adults. Oh my God, I've been waiting for this my whole life.
I got my adult diploma just yesterday, laminated it, and it took forever for that crayon to dry. But I tell you what, it sure looks good on my popsicle stick mantelpiece.
Yeehaw! Got me my grade 3.
Took forever for the gravy to congeal into the shape of a train. Oh,
That's right, spaghetti molds.
yeah, they make silicone molds for anything.
If you break up spaghetti and you boil it up real decent, you break it into about 1 inch or less segments,
Yeah.
and then you throw them in your Jello and it sets. Yeah. Sounds strange, don't it?
It does.
Jello noodles.
Jello noodles.
Jello noodles.
All right, that's gonna have to be something that we can debate when we have our three-way free for all
All right.
and arts and crafts time, which I'm really excited about.
Me too. Also, the lady who was going to buy the kayak, I ran into her last night. She got into a car accident. Her car was impounded. Just anything that they can do to make sure that you have no money to take care of yourself is what the cops are doing right now. Oh, you're poor? Oh, we're going to make you even more poor. Watch this. $100. She still wants it. I got her saved in my phone as Amanda Kayak.
Was that before or after I talked to you?
That was before, but she wasn't sure if she was going to be able to or not. That's the thing, is that nobody's for sure going to have the money for anything.
True.
If I hold on to something for somebody, chances are pretty good that there will be an emergency and I will lose a lot of opportunities. Which sucks, because you want to hold something for somebody, but you can't stay broke. All
I
right.
think that's also probably another good thing about this idea of doing a campsite, at least for a little while, to get all the shit. I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to getting all the shit off the top of the rig.
I got to get mine out and resort it. The problem is, last time I went up the mountains, the guy was going to stay up there for at least a day, maybe 2, but we didn't even stay up there a full day. He wanted to come down here and go to the feed. And like I was saying with my back and them batteries, well, if I pull everything out of here, it's going to take me up to 3 days to recover.
Absolutely.
So I'm totally down with that because I need to clean through this stuff. And also that'll allow you guys to see literally how much paper evidence I have in here. I have 15 bags of evidence. Let me find it. Just 15 bags, 15 grocery bags full of paperwork.
Jeez.
They just kept sending me from one place to another, and by not having a steady address and a steady mailing address and constantly having to move, by the time like I said, you know, the help is 6 weeks out and I'm getting run out of town in 3. It's not going to work out. People say, oh, well, you should have checked the mail. How am I going to check the mail if I'm being victimized there and nobody's doing anything?
So that could be another thing that we could do as a team is organize that into folders and get a. It's been my experience personally that if you go in,
It's been organized and reorganized. The thing that keeps unorganizing it is having to live in my vehicle and not having access to it, constantly having to move. I get everything organized, and then I have to shove it all into the vehicle real quick because it's time to move again. And then it's only slightly disorganized. With my little sister, I needed her help to organize it for about 10 or 15 minutes. It didn't need to be anything more than that. But my sister was off in her own frame of mind and wanted to do it all day. I still paid her for it. The next day, she was supposed to come help and actually take a look at evidence. The problem is, well, she was fucking twacked out of her goddamn gourd. And then I also got it recorded. She was saying that her friend Nora was told her about this insurance place and she needed $400 for insurance. Well, I found out that Nora, because I recorded the situation where Tara, Nora, and Ed came over and he wiped that computer. That's like 7 hours worth of recordings on that, 9 hours overall. But the thing is, in nearly all of it, you get to hear my sister and Ed fucking around and flirting and whatnot. I'm like, well, if you're gonna flirt, but don't do it on work hours. Fuck, you're getting paid for this. But it turned out that $400 that I paid her not once but twice, I paid her $400 so she could pay her insurance because she wouldn't be able to help me unless she had insurance. So I paid for her insurance, and then it turns out Nora, the lady that told her where to get the insurance, had not told her. Because when I brought it up and Tara was talking about it in front of Nora, Nora was like, oh, well, I didn't know about that place. Fuck, Tara. And the thing is, my sister was like the biggest liar growing up, but then when she had her daughter, she went all ultra Christian and decided she was done with that stuff, but having her go right back to it was freaky. Then Ed was apparently harassing her because she was selling meth or whatever in Sydney, and I was like, I can't believe anything that comes out of his face. He thinks that he can have military drones fly over your house, Tara. No, he's not all there. But that's the thing is, I need people to understand these dynamics are real, but who's going to have the time to listen to just that 7 hours worth of recording to verify that it's true and help turn it in, let alone the fact that there's literally thousands of recordings.
We could have a night over bonfire where we just do nothing but, no movie time, jumping around, dinner or whatever, but I mean, the majority of the time is spent focusing on listening to these recordings.
Well, if we could do that in the mountains, do you have access up there in the mountains to that?
To attention span?
The
or
stuff
to the bonfire?
No, internet. The stuff that's on the internet. Like I can show a lot of that's on the internet on my phone, but then the stuff that's on the computer is
download it onto a chip, and then I have means of.
well, that's
playing
that's
what's on
something
the
I
chip.
would need help with. But I have a lot of stuff that's full on my keychain. I have 2 USBs that are completely full of evidence. I've got, like I said, 2 computers that are completely full. Everything is full.
And is that of the most recent or the dating the farthest back to ensure that we don't lose the statute of limitations?
Well, the statute of limitations doesn't exist on any of this anymore because it took so long for them to actually do something. They broke the law repeatedly and made it so that it's impossible for me to get justice. So as a result,
accepted, motherfucker.
yep. Also, due to the fact that there's multiple sexual offenses against me, there's no statute of limitations on those.
Awesome.
Yep.
Good to know.
There's also the fact that I can show you evidence in the back.
No.
At least 2 dozen government officials and or officers that I tried to turn in that are now incarcerated for exactly the things that I said they were doing. They pretend that I'm schizophrenic and that these things didn't happen, but then these people do it to somebody else because they got a big head, and then they got busted.
You
So all of my cases need reviewed.
Well, it's good. That's fucking huge.
It is, but people don't want to listen. They want to play pocket lawyer. They say, Sean, I can't help you. I'm not a lawyer. You need a lawyer. And I say, well, actually, I need you as a witness to fucking step up or lawyers aren't going to listen. I've been called mentally ill.
All right. So let's pull the trigger on today.
All right.
I'm going to get this bitch taken care of, get her some food and clean water that doesn't have antifreeze in it.
All right. I'll confer with Claire for just a few minutes before I go about my day. I'll plan on meeting you back here at 2:30. And I'm going to try not to spend more than a half an hour of her time because I want to make sure she's got time to get her stuff done before she gets her car repaired.
Absolutely.
Also, when it comes to kids, I don't know if you believe you punish yourself kids. I don't know if you do. But kids are always number one priority.
Not that she's not worthy of it, but just based on the situation, it's not that I can have to do on the day to day. I do appreciate the consideration. It's shifted in here that would allow jump at any chance I have to interact with the different area. Thank you, sir.
That's the thing. When I was a kid, I didn't have a zero. As an adult, I don't feel used to it. The zero I need from the kids don't go to prison. I've been through protecting kids. So when people say, I'm not afraid to go to prison. I know that. Yep. All right. Yes, sir. Anxieties. But I got this question if you could. I think you understand the dynamics of my anxiety a little bit better. I just absolutely wonderful. I really doesn't help out. I'm trying to stick to something B. Anyway, I figured if you're able to, we didn't get to last night and yesterday or yesterday morning, and I explained to that him that I don't have any hatred or animosity. It's just a matter of being overwhelmed. And, yeah. If we keep putting it off until tomorrow, it'll eventually be 2036. But yeah, I was gonna grab my phone and I guess sit with you and do what we was gonna do last night if that's still alright. And also, when it comes to helping people, that always turns into a big mess. It turns into people that have an animosity. And all three of us are actually in situations where one-on-one brawl, where it's just us for free. So we were discussing making sure that everybody gets something out of it and that we prioritize not one person over the rest, but the priority is that, let's say you have something that has to be done today, then we prioritize making sure that's done today. Yeah. Well, it's easier to do one-on-one, otherwise you get too many people talking and you get lost in translation. And that's very much, I do say it's not just a trait, but really it is a human trait. We just tend to push it off on autistic people because it's easy to blame. Yeah, they'll blow you off until you have a panic attack about it, and then pretend like your panic attack is unwarranted. Yo, it's kind of like when I started speaking out about the abuse I was taking. People are like, "Look, you just shut up. People wouldn't do that." I'm like, if they hadn't done that to begin with, I wouldn't have any reason to speak up. So, yeah, I guess I'll go start a recording, and I'm probably gonna put my blinds up so
that I can see. And then after 30 minutes, I'll try to keep it limited to that so that I'm not wasting too much of your time. And then I know I have a notebook somewhere so that we can plot down what it is that each individual of us need. And if there's some skills that one of us might have that we can say, hey, I can volunteer to do that because I'm really good at it, that would be helpful. Or if you can say, well, I don't know how to do that at all, but if one of you guys can help me, I might be able to figure it out. And also making sure that he gets that going on. And like I was saying before, the biggest difficulty between all our vehicles is fucking gas. If I can get my stuff cleared out well enough, I can do the whole driving people into town and driving back. We were able to have an actual camp with 3 people, and we could always make sure that there's 2 people for every appointment, so we're not going off and still have somebody watch the gear. All right. So if you give me about 10 minutes, I'm gonna get prepared, get everything set up, and then I'll be over to Buggy if that's all right. And I guess he's gonna go with me to DHS. He said a lot of it's online. We can do all this stuff online, but the important part for triage is to show up with somebody in person with you so they see that somebody does care. Also, after that half hour, whatever you got going on, I don't want to pull any time from you after 1 o'clock because I know you got your vehicle to run.
Well, I've got at 2 o'clock there.
I wasn't sure if it was 2 or 2:30. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna stop talking now.
Okay.
I'll be right back over in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
It's wonderful when people do understand dynamics and anxieties. We formulated a battle plan. Now let's hopefully it'll follow through and work out. Most of the people that I was trying to work with are not bad people. They just, in person, it's easy to communicate this. In typing, it's impossible. Also, by the time it gets to the point that I have this much anxiety, I am a chatterbox. I won't shut up. Just too much anxiety. So it's important for it to be taken seriously to begin with before it gets to this point. But until people are familiar with me enough to understand that's going to happen, and with a lot of people, with them wanting to explain things, but not listening as well as they should if they're going to try to help, it's very complicated for me because eventually I get to the point where I'm afraid to speak. And I will pace and pace and pace, and it will drive people nuts. I hate losing things. Anyway, when you hear me speaking normally versus when I'm having a panic attack and talking 400 miles an hour, it's a matter of days. It's a matter of days now. It used to be a matter of weeks. Before that, it was a matter of months. The thing is, the more I see the traits, the more likely I am to have a panic attack about them. I know that most of these people did not mean anything horrible by what they did, by the choice that they made. I know that a lot of these folks who offered to help me, that they did have actual issues going on in their lives. The problem is they never spoke up. And as a result, when the cops said that I wasn't trying to get help, even though it was an outright lie, with nobody coming forward, it didn't matter. They got away with it by cutting me off from being able to communicate with those people. And then claiming that I did. Oh, I had the ability to communicate. Like, of course, having the phone thing thrown at me. When I was in Arapahoe County Jail, Mandy Hughes sent some money for the phone so that I could use the phone and make the calls that I needed to make. Well, that money never got there. But then Alyssa Rainwater, after everything was said and done, Alyssa Rainwater sent me some money and it did get there. But it was already too late for it to make any difference. Now with Mandy Hughes, I didn't understand why she wasn't able to call up the prison or call up the jail in Arapahoe County and have it all cleared up. So basically the only person that I was able to talk to was Mandy, and I had to call her collect. And that was only if I had permission and had this piece of paper signed. It was a big pain in the ass. Anyway, later on, when Mandy Hughes and her daughter Alyssa Rainwater were mad at me because I told the truth publicly, Shannon Alvarado was mad at me by that point too, so she wanted to use the fact that Alyssa Rainwater had sent me money in jail, trying to pretend like this is something that I had hidden. No, I spoke up fucking honestly about that situation on my fucking YouTube channel. I didn't hide that. It's on my YouTube channel still. The conversations with Alyssa Rainwater and Mandy Hughes that verify it are still on my fucking YouTube channel. No, that's not something I was trying to hide from anybody. And the reason that I make these channels is because with Shannon Alvarado being the constant talker that she is, how am I going to get in a word edgewise? And many people are like that. They found out that I'm autistic, so they feel bad for me, so they want to help. But then they also assume that I'm retarded because I'm autistic, so I must not know what kind of help I need. I must be too stupid to understand the dynamics of what's going on around me. It's not the case. I'm highly intelligent. I'm cut off from being able to do these things through resources, both human resources and financial resources. Physical resources. I have physical disabilities, not just mental problems, as you guys try to insinuate. My mental problems, my primary mental problem is post-traumatic stress disorder. Alright, so good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind.